Imagine this. You fly all the way to the moon. You get closer to its surface than anyone has in more than 50 years, and then you just turn around and head home. Sounds a little strange, right? Well, that's exactly what NASA's Artemis 2 mission did, and the reason why is actually a lot more strategic than you might think. It tells us a whole lot about the future of space exploration.
For the crew, the view was just absolutely life-changing. I mean, these weren't just pictures on a screen. This was the real deal. The raw, unfiltered lunar landscape right there outside their window. Astronaut Victor Glover put it perfectly, quote, "Looking out the window, it felt as if I was walking on those rugged mountains myself. That's just how close they were."
So this incredible, almost spiritual experience brings us to the million-dollar question. They made it all the way there. They were so close you could practically feel it. So why on Earth didn't they land? What was the deal?
Okay, before we get to the why, let's talk about the what. What did they actually see from that totally unique vantage point? Their journey basically gave them a front row seat to a spectacle no human had seen that close up in half a century.
Peering out of the Orion capsule's window, they saw the moon in a way few people ever have. We're talking countless craters and deep fissures carving up the surface, vast mountain ranges stretching out to the horizon. And from this amazing perspective, they also witnessed a rare Earthrise, saw a solar eclipse from deep space, and got an unprecedented look at the mysterious Orientale Basin. Just incredible stuff.
All right, so seeing all of that makes the decision not to land seem even more puzzling, doesn't it? It's kind of like getting to the 1-yard line in a football game and deciding not to score. So what was the real game plan here?
Well, the simplest answer is usually the right one. The main goal of this mission was never to land. It was actually about something way more fundamental. Testing the vehicle, the crew, and all the systems to make absolutely sure that future missions can land and do it safely.
So this wasn't a failure to land, it was a success in planned, deliberate progress. And the main reason really comes down to a simple idea. You have to bring the right tools for the right job.
This right here is the core technical reason. The Artemis 2 crew flew in the Orion capsule. Now, think of Orion as the deep space taxi that gets you into the moon's neighborhood. Its job is to safely ferry the crew 250,000 miles and bring them home. But to actually get from that orbit down to the surface, you need a completely different vehicle, a specialized lunar lander. And that lander, well, it's still in development and wasn't part of this mission.
So, if they weren't landing, what was on their checklist? This slide lays out the real mission. They were essentially doing a full-scale dress rehearsal in the incredibly harsh environment of deep space. They were testing every single life support system with actual humans on board, verifying the spacecraft's performance, and above all else, identifying and minimizing risks for the future crews who will land.
And believe me, the risks are very, very real. Get this, for a full 40 minutes, the crew was completely out of communication with Earth while flying over the far side of the moon. In that radio silence, if any critical failure happened, they were entirely on their own.
And that really gets to the heart of it. That's why you just can't skip steps in space exploration. In an environment that's so unforgiving, trying to pull off a complex landing without first proving every single system works perfectly, well, that's not just illogical, it's incredibly dangerous.
And that absolute commitment to not skipping steps is exactly why this mission wasn't just some standalone trip. It was a single, vital chapter in a much, much bigger story. Humanity's careful, methodical return to the moon.
The whole Artemis program is designed as a careful, logical progression. Step 1, Artemis I, was an uncrewed flight. Just send up the hardware, make sure it works. This mission, Artemis 2, that was step 2. Okay, now add people. Test all the life support systems in a real, deep space environment. And only after you've proven all of that do you move to step 3, Artemis 3 and 4, which will finally land humans on the moon.
And let's be clear, this mission was a huge success on its own. The crew traveled about 252,000 miles from Earth. That breaks the half-century-old record set by Apollo 13 for the farthest humans have ever journeyed from our home planet. That's a massive achievement.
So when we look back at Artemis 2, we really shouldn't see it as the mission that fell just short of the lunar surface. We should see it for what it truly was, a critical foundation being carefully laid for the future.
This was the ultimate systems check before the final exam. The decision not to land wasn't driven by fear or any kind of failure. Nope, it was driven by meticulous, smart, and strategic preparation for humanity's next giant leap.
And that really brings us to the final crucial takeaway. As space researchers are saying, today's non-landing is the biggest step towards tomorrow's victory on the moon. So the real question isn't, why didn't they land? It's, what new horizons did this crucial step just open up for all of us?